Here's a quick overview and review of the Cuisinart Cleanburn Fire Pit. There's not many clear reviews of this on YouTube as I make this one, but it has been highly reviewed by Popular Mechanics and Consumer Reports, and the price is right. I mean, it's about half of what a lot of the other fire pits cost. So I thought I'd give it a try, and then I could show it to you guys. And here it is. And it comes in 3 pieces. There's really no assembly required. It comes with the base, the main unit here, and then the wind guard, which is removable. And it's got a pretty good design for a smokeless or smokeless fire pit, because they're not completely smoke-free, they're just smokeless. But it pulls in air from here, rides up in here, comes out here, and burns any smoke before it exits and gets in your face, right? And for a portable design, it's got a pretty big bowl here. You can burn up to 18-inch logs in it. And what I like about this is the design that it draws or uses gravity to bring any of the firewood down to where the heat is, so you don't have to keep shuffling things around quite as much. And cleanup, well, let's talk about that. Usually cleanup for a fire pit is not fun, and it's usually a drag, but this is a little different. You just twist it and remove it. You see it's got these tabs right here where the main unit locks in, so you just twist and remove it, and you can just pick this up, dump the ashes where they need to go, and then put it back together. And overall, the quality of materials is really good. It's all stainless here. It's got a really nice textured black finish here. Nice Cuisinart logo, stainless base. I like the design. It's simple, but it's elegant. It's not overly complicated, and it's not overly, looking like it belongs in an apocalypse bunker. So it's just a good looking, good designed, and affordable smokeless fire pit. So let's get it into place, get some firewood in it, and see how it works. And here's something else that's pretty neat to know. If you do have to move it, all the pieces fit inside, so it's pretty compact. And here it is out in my backyard on my patio. Looks pretty good. Can't complain one bit. Hey, check this guy out. I just noticed him. Anyway, back to this. Looks really good, pretty classy. But here's the thing. there he goes again. I just had this patio poured like 3 days ago. I want to get the heat of that up a little bit, so I got a solution. There's lots of different options out there, but Cuisinart makes this stand specifically for that fire pit, so I figured that's probably the cleanest and easiest way to do it instead of getting pavers and making something. This looks like it'd be pretty cool. And again, haven't seen much about it online, so let's take a look at what you get with this. Instructions, but here we go. Basically, it's 4 feet like this, including screws. It's reasonably thick metal, right? And this plate screws together pretty simply. Let's put it together. And there it is. Pretty simple. Elevates the fire pit this high off the ground. Looks good. Let's go get it underneath the fire pit. And there it is. Doesn't look too bad at all. And I got peace of mind knowing that it's not going to get too hot underneath it. This is also great if you want to use it on a yard, and I understand that it's good for if you want to use it on some sort of deck, but read the owner manual just to be safe. Now here's the next thing, covering this up when it's not in use. Now Cuisinart does make a cover designed specifically for this, and I did buy one with it, but I don't always want to go through the hassle of putting it on and taking it off. So I came up with a nifty little solution to covering this after it's cooled and when not in use. Check that out. That is an American Metalcraft 20-inch pizza pan, and it looks like it was made for it. It fits just right over the lip here. It has a little bit of room, but otherwise it definitely kind of centers on it. It really complements the looks of the fire pit. And since it's designed to manage heat or hold heat or deal with heat, hot pizzas, right? It'll do just fine after this cools off to a reasonable temperature. You put that on there. Now if you want, you can put a knob right there so it's easy on, easy off. How do you find the center and what kind of knob to use? Well, guess what? I'm going to show you that too. Here we are looking at the bottom of the pizza pan, soon to be our fire pit lid. And I'm going to use this stainless steel knob that I picked up on Amazon pretty cheap. It looks like it'll match the style nicely. And by the way, I'm going to put links to everything that you see in this video in the description below if you want to do the same thing for your fire pit. So now we need to find the center of the lid to know where to drill the hole for the knob. How do we do that? Well, didn't you pay attention in math class? Well, neither did I, but I'm still going to show you. First, you need to make a straight line from one edge of the circle to another, and I'm actually going to use this inner ridge right here because it's flat and it'll be easier to draw the line that way. And it doesn't matter how long the line is as long as you can find the middle part of it. So I'm going to use this 12-inch scale to make that line. And then at the midpoint, which is 6 inches, I'm going to make a little mark. Like that. Now from that midpoint, I'm going to draw another line 90 degrees toward the center of the lid. And if you don't have an angle to use or anything like that, just use a piece of printer paper. In this case, we don't have to be super precise unless you really, really want to. This should be close enough for what we're doing here. See what we've got? Okay. From this point, we're just going to spin the lid around and do the same thing somewhere else on it, like maybe right here. See where those two lines cross? You got it. That's the center. And if we want to check our work, we can do it again, anywhere else on the lid. See, we are pretty close. So that's where I'm going to drill a 5/32 inch hole and install the knob. Got a pilot hole there. Whoops, hit the camera. There we've got our hole. If you want to, a little bit of rubbing alcohol, take the ink off. This is the underside, so it's going to get all scorched up anyway, but what the heck. And we're done. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now you're going to notice that the included screw might be just a bit too long to snug down securely on the lid. So you might need to use some washers to fill the gap. I suggest using stainless so it doesn't rust. But okay, let's go back out and make a fire in our new fire pit. You can see that there's a little bit of smoke coming off that tip right there, but it immediately gets stopped before it goes up. It's doing its job. You can't tell because there's sunlight on it. If it was dark, you'd probably be able to see it more. But it's working. And one thing I like to do is I like to toss some of these in there, magical flames, which I did. I threw a couple in there. I'm not sure if you can see them. The camera doesn't pick it up too well. It's a lot more vibrant in person, but they're always fun and festive. So these, you just do this, toss it in there, and then it makes super colorful flames. I've had quite a few fires like the one you just saw in this Cuisinart fire pit, and I want to show you something. All of them ended up just like this, where they burned almost completely and very, very cleanly. And I haven't had a fire pit that does that. I think it's the bowl design and, of course, the ventilation design of it. So it works out really good. Let's take a look at what it's like in the ash pan. Again, it burns very, very clean. And this is just standard hackberry wood that falls on my property. It's nothing special. So one thing I do want to mention is my idea for the cheap fire pit cover doesn't work perfectly with this particular fire pit if it's going to be exposed to the elements like rain, and I'll tell you why. Because the lid, as you saw, covers this area here, but because of the design of this Cuisinart fire pit, it's got this ring, right? Well, water can get in there, rainwater can. So if it's not going to be exposed to rain, sure, by all means, use my idea. Hope it works out well for you. But if your Cuisinart fire pit is going to be exposed to the rain of any kind, then I strongly recommend you get the Cuisinart fire pit cover that's made specifically for this. And I got one, and I've been using it, and it works out really good. Let me show it to you. And here it is. And I've had this on here for a few weeks now, and it's getting kind of dirty. But overall, let me just show you some of the features. So far, it's holding up great because the material is pretty thick. It has handles and a vent and a drawstring on both sides, which is pretty convenient. But I think the smartest thing about this cover, not only the fact that it was designed specifically for this fire pit, but this right here. See, I've had fire pits with covers in the past that doesn't have that kind of support, and it just fills up with rain and becomes like a giant rainwater bowl, right? But this has a cross underneath made out of aluminum, like springy material that folds up, and it prevents that from happening. Pretty smart. Now, you could always use the pizza pan cover instead of that. It's your choice, but you do have options. Overall, I am super, super happy with the Cuisinart fire pit. It's pretty affordable, it burns really clean, it's made of really high quality materials, and it's just easy to enjoy. I really like it a lot. So, if you're in the market for a new fire pit, I suggest giving it a try and picking it up. I hope this video helped.